It started. I just did a little bit of housekeeping. This will be the last Monday Zoom for a couple of weeks. We will switch to next Friday. That would be November the 4th, if I can do math correctly. And we'll do a couple of straight Fridays and then flip back to Mondays again because, well, now it's time for some action. And Coach doesn't know what day is what anymore. So you and me both. So, Coach, let's
Yep.
just put the wheel to bed and talk about a very happy and successful weekend.
Yeah, I know today's Monday, so I got that figured out. And when we get to Thursday, my reality will change. But today is Monday, and it's a great day in Northeast Ohio. The wheel's still where it belongs. I'm really, really proud of our kids, as I alluded to yesterday or Saturday, rather, after the game. Just a gritty, tough win. Really, really proud of the staff and the way that they led through the adversity, the way that the kids responded. It's been a tough couple of weeks where we learned a lot of hard lessons. And that's what success looks like. Everyone wants success to be smooth and this constant, climb, but you're going to face obstacles, and those obstacles need to fuel you. You need to learn from them so that happen again. And I was really proud of the team and the way that they responded. And shoot, we started slow at Miami of Ohio. We didn't get off to a fast start, Saturday, but our kids didn't flinch, and we learned from that lesson. We were able to respond, come back, get a big time rivalry win. And now day one of this little 10-day mini bye as we transition to MACtion comes at a good time for us so we can get healthy. Obviously, Colin did not play. Had a lower body bruise that he's been dealing with for the past couple of weeks. That was noticeable in a few of the past couple of games, and just didn't get to a place on Saturday where we felt comfortable where he could go. And it's our job, it's my job to protect these kids and to put them in the best possible positions to be successful every single day. And didn't feel like that he could do that, so we held him out. It looks like Antoine Richardson, Wheezy, unfortunately, is going to be done for the year with an injury that he sustained against Toledo, which is really unfortunate. With everything that he's been through, and then CJ West, kind of the other notable that I guess did not play, and he should be day to day as we continue to go forward, and hopeful that he'll be up and available for Ball State. And then obviously within the game, Dante went down with a lower body injury. We're going to get him, some images and different things today. We'll see where that's at once those results come back. I don't have that information right now. Marvin Pierre went down. He'll be good. So I think that's it. I think that's all I got for the medical update and where we're at. But obviously we need to utilize this time the right way to, get healthy. Comes at a good time so we can finish strong. We got a very, very good opponent, in Ball State that we need to face next. And we're going to have to give our best effort to have an opportunity to compete and win against those guys.
Well, thank you, Coach. Let's get our usual round the room started with Alan Moff on the record courier. Alan, any questions for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned this little break coming at a really good time. What exactly do you do to take advantage of it? Obviously you rest, but a little more specifically, like what do you guys have planned here?
Yeah, I mean, so we actually talked about that, yesterday as a team, as a family, and what we need to do and how we need to handle it the right way, right? To where even though there's not necessarily physical work days each and every single day, today's the player's day off, but the real work that needs to get done, is the school work so that we can stay ahead and get ahead on things when it comes to the classroom with the transition to the MAC schedule. And our guys do a great job of that. That's why we've been able to have a team GPA above a 3.0 for the past couple semesters, and why the team composite GPA is over a 3.0, because our guys take that very, very seriously, and the work of Angie Hall and her staff leading our guys. So a lot of schoolwork can get done here to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success and handling that the right way. The athletic training staff is going to get overwhelmed with the extra time that the guys are going to get so that they can get the proper treatment that they need. But again, it's the simple things of, resting, recovering, hydrating, getting proper nutrition, in their bodies so that their bodies can do what they do to recover and to utilize that the right way. We're not going to practice tomorrow. On a typical Tuesday, we would practice. So the guys are just going to do a light little lift and run, which is consistent with our schedule. We'll get on the field on Wednesday to do kind of like a developmental practice, but the guys who have played a bunch of football this year or for us over the course of 5 years, they'll do a little bit less than say some of the scout team guys who have been, on the service teams this year. And they'll get up and they'll get to feel what it's like to, be a real guy and prepare for a game. So we'll kind of simulate that so they can feel that sense of that you need to have. And on Thursday, and that's kind of when the world shifts for us, and becomes our Monday, and then we'll start really taking a deep dive, into and installing the Ball State plan, and then Friday will be Tuesday. So our guys got to do a great job. I know it's going to be a fun weekend here, on campus with it being Halloween weekend and everything, but it's a small sacrifice that you need to make for the greater good and for the things that are still out there and in front of us to prioritize the work that needs to get done through the course of the week and obviously over the weekend. So our kids, social life is going to look a little bit different this weekend because it's truly, instead of being Friday, Saturday, Sunday for them, it's our Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So.
Have you given much thought? I mean, obviously quite a few injuries this year, especially on the defensive side. Have you given much thought to why that might happen or anything you could have done differently, or is just injuries just part of football?
I mean, it's a culmination of a lot of different things, but when you look back at a lot of these things that have occurred, the majority of them, Alan, are contact related, so it's you would really kind of take a deep dive and do a heavy self-assessment if there was a ton of kind of, I don't know if you want to call them non-contact or fluke kind of off the wall, like, all right, hey, what's the common thread? But, each one of these are, hey, here's a football play where there was a collision, and because of that collision, where that collision occurred, that's where the injury happened. So it's kind of it's very black and white on how it happened. And I think our strength staff does an unbelievable job. And for the 5 years that we've been here, this is really kind of the first year where there's been a compound or culmination of this number of significant injuries to key contributors.
Well, you talked Saturday about just a number of people stepping up. Obviously, Devin being the most obvious, but maybe talk about him a little more after you watched film and just other guys that you noticed that really came through and helped you win a game for Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, again, Devin's performance, he did a really good job once he settled in, right? Made enough plays, enough big time plays, and managed the game as a whole. So that he gave the whole family an opportunity to go win it for him. And I thought the guys around him did a great job stepping up. Obviously, Devontae Walker's day was exceptional, obviously, when he had the ball in his hands, and for him to produce 3 touchdowns. But what he did without the ball in his hands was equally as impressive. The way that he competed for his teammates without the ball in his hands was really, really good. We awarded Sam Allen with the Offensive Player of the Week for that victory, for him to anchor our offensive line, knowing that, again, you got a true freshman in a rivalry game, in a gotta have it game to keep the wheel at home. For him to anchor that line with all the stemming and moving and different fronts that we were seeing, for him to make all those proper calls, and for us to rush for 242 yards and to not have a single sack. That starts with him up front, and those 5 guys up front. They did an exceptional job. Coop, I thought, did a great job running the ball. BB did a great job running the ball. Gavin came in, and got some nice carries. I thought our kickoff return team did an exceptional job. It was a big time return there by Jay Sean Polk and everyone involved in that unit at the end of the first half. And then for us to go get that touchdown at the end of the first half and transition to get a defensive stop to start the second half and to go get points again, I really felt the momentum and the the way the game, we were able to grab hold of it at that moment in the middle 8 was huge. Defensively, I was really, really impressed with Zay West. I've challenged him. I challenged him early in the season when I didn't think that he was performing to the best of his ability, and he's really, really responded. And I thought the D line had their most disrupt day, led by Zay, and Zay best players, and he needs to play that way, and he responded great. DJ Miller continues to be a constant stable for us, and I don't exactly know what his stat line is, but what he's been able to do and the consistency that he brings day in and day out to the facilities and how that shows up on game day, exactly what you're going to get from him, whether it be defensively or within special teams. The value and the contribution that he has made has been immeasurable, so those are some guys that jumped to the top of my head, that really did a great job.
Defensively with CJ, West out of there, you're pretty undersized. Talk about, I added them up. They average about 310 up front, and they were able to do some things with you early. But I thought at the end, your quickness really kind of had an impact on them too.
Yeah,
when it mattered. Talk about that.
Yeah, again, I mean, those guys again up front, they've done a really good job under Coach Farrell's leadership of continuing to get better and better and better and refining their craft. And again, to be able to get on the edge and to use their quickness and to use their speed and to generate the number of sacks that they did. And then there's a couple got to have it moments there in the fourth quarter where we have some third and shorts, we have some fourth and shorts where again, like Nico comes to mind with the big fourth down stop, right, to where Nico gets the tackle, but Nico's able to make that tackle because the front does their job to be gap sound, and that ball's got nowhere to go. So Nico's able to bend off the edge and does a great job with it. But that only happens because our guys are firm and they're stout at the point of attack. So, they did a good job with pad level as the game went along. I still feel like that can be better for us. I still feel like we can do a better job violently disrupting off of blocks with our hat and hands as we do things properly. But again, it was a day of havoc that they created up front with the D line. And again, they knew that they needed to do that. They knew that there was a possibility that CJ wasn't going to play, and guys stepped up and they carried their water. And that's what family members do, right? That's why you take care of one another. And it's not what you say, but it's what you do. And those guys acted, and their actions spoke volumes on Saturday.
You're sitting here now. You're 2/3 of the way through the regular season here. Do you take time with this little break you got here to kind of evaluate where you're at, look where you're at in the standings, look back, and things like that, and kind of figure those things out? Or do you just say Ball State's next and we're getting ready for them?
No, I mean, I'm always constantly assessing. Alan, we got a little extra time here now, obviously, to kind of really look at, okay, what are our strengths? What do we need to get better at? But it's always a constant assessment to where, it's my job and it's our coaches' jobs to figure out week in and week out how we can win, right? Like that, we're in the job of managing the situation that we are, and we don't look for any sort of relief of what it is. The facts are the facts. Let me know what the facts are. Let me know who's up. Let me know who's down. And let's go build a plan to win and manage the game to win that way. So we're constantly assessing it. We're constantly evaluating it. We're constantly tinkering it. And I mean, that goes all the way up to kickoff, right? And then once you're in it, it's kind of a matter of, all right, the game, how's it playing out? What adjustments do we need to make? Okay, here we are. We're in the fourth quarter. And how do we go and win and manage the fourth quarter, so that we can end up on the right side of the ledger. So it's constantly being assessed. It's constantly being changed. And, there's certain things that are really, really good that you're still looking to refine to make better.
Any quick thoughts just when you check out the standings, assuming you've even done that? The West comes in, maybe that's considered a little stronger coming into the season, but as things have played out so far, the East is looking like, it's maybe a little better than people thought.
I mean, it's a super competitive league from the top to the bottom, right? I mean, and I think we all know from the time that we spent together, either in it or covering it, that, I mean, you got to bring your best and you got to prepare each and every single day. And the team that is the most consistent in their preparation, that handles all that has gone on throughout the course of the year, that can be mature enough to handle, a midweek MACtion game and how the weather's going to change. There's so many variables that go into it. The things that you can control, your consistency with preparation, the self-discipline that you have to not have self-inflicted wounds and to limit the distractions within your building. Anyone can truly beat anyone on any given day, whether it's a Saturday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, whenever you're going to play. So it doesn't surprise me to see the parity in the league. It's always that way. It's always going to be that way. And so we have to look inward, again, to the things that we can control and figure out the best game plan that we can put together to go prepare to beat a really, really good Ball State team. And right now, that's the only thing that I'm concerned with, and know that us doing that the right way helps us wherever we sit in the standings right now.
All right. Just, quick look at Ball State. How much have you gotten a chance to look at them at this point? And what are your initial thoughts here?
Yeah, a quick glimpse initially with everything right now. Very, very talented. They got, a wide receiver that they've targeted over 90 times. That is an explosive playmaker. They got a big physical running game that they like to dictate and control the pace of play. They are playing at a much faster clip. I mean, they're the 7th fastest tempo team in the country. So actually offensively, when it comes to their pace of play and how fast they're snapping the ball, they're actually playing faster than us on a national level right now. So, they're kind of going about it and attacking things in a little bit different way in that regards. Defensively, they're long, they're physical, they're athletic. They play really, really hard. Their pass defense has been one of the best in the league. So they're active and they value special teams. They got good players playing on teams. So again, we're going to have our hands full and we got to prepare the right way. And then we got to show up and be at our best here in 9 days on a Tuesday.
Just looking at their results, I mean, just about every game is tight. So, you've talked about, finding ways to win these games and the MAC, and they always seem to come down to the last several minutes. Obviously, they're very experienced in that, and you guys have had some success here recently. Just kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, again, to me, that's the little things, and knowing and understanding that there is no little things, that all those little things in the way you go about your business. Again, like today, even though it's a day off, it's really critically important that our guys are taking care of their schoolwork and that they're getting ahead in that realm, that they're hydrating, that they're eating, that they're getting the treatment that they need so that we can invest our time wisely so that when the moment comes here, a week from Tuesday, we're as close to 100% as we can be, knowing that we're not going to be at 100%, right? And neither are they. But then, okay, when we get into the moment, again, the discipline that we have, the passion that we have to play, and the way that we go execute, like that has to be at a higher clip, and we have to value everything that we do and hold that process in a really high regard so that if it comes down to another one possession game, the way that it did, and it came down to a kick the last time we played these guys, right, when they were here, again, like know what it is and prepare yourself and get your mind right and in that mindset according so that you can go have success because of yourself for that moment so that you can go at the level of your training.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely.
Let's jump things over to TV2's Jack Burney. Jack, any questions here for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, I know we talked a little bit about Devontae on Saturday, but can you just talk a little bit more about his growth this season? Obviously, last year, he came on towards the end of the year. He had that touchdown in the bowl game. But this year, I really liked just what he had to say on Saturday. He said, whenever the team puts trust in me, I just want to go out there and make plays for the family. And I feel like that's what he's done all year long. Just talk about his growth and what he's meant to you guys, especially as an offense.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that when Keyshawn was leaving the program, with his time being up and everything that he had done for the family, that we needed someone to raise their level of play, right? That we needed someone to step up in a big time way because they went about their work the right way. They attacked the offseason program the right way. They were humble enough to realize that, okay, just because there's a spot that's open, I'm not entitled to it, that I have to go earn the opportunity that's there. And then once I earn the opportunity, that I have to, again, remain humble. And just because I'm the starter doesn't mean that there's not things that I need to improve upon. And I think that's one of Tez's superpowers, aside from, everything that he's able to do physically, his mindset and his humility to take coaching each and every single day and to know and understand that he's not a finished product and that his hunger and desire to get better is exceptional. And then so because of that, I was so happy for that block because the week before, like as he alluded to on Saturday, like it's something that we've been on him about, right? Like the week before, we're in the high red zone area and Toledo's got a roll corner and he missed that block and it put one of his brothers in a very, very unfortunate situation where he got hit. And he took that really, really personal. Tez did, because he doesn't want to be the reason why he can't be trusted. And he wants everyone around him to know that he's a guy that can be trusted. And shoot, in fact, give me more water in my bucket because I'm going to carry it the right way. And so for him to, dominate that corner the way that he did, like that's just such a telling play. Again, like it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but it's the way that he's competing with the ball not in his hands. And I think that's something that, particularly for our offensive playmakers, because we have so many, like that's something that we put a point of emphasis on across the board. Like there's only one football and only one guy gets to carry it or touch it on any given play, but you can still impact that play and you can show how much you care for the family by the way that you compete when you don't have the ball in your hands. And Tez does that at a really, really high level. And he's just a special kid.
No, just one more for me. We talked a little bit about Ball State. Seems like defensively, they struggle against the run, much like that school down the road did. Is that something you guys will look to exploit on Tuesday, or is that just something that, the run game's always important? It doesn't change regardless of the opponent?
I know that's what the numbers say right now. I haven't taken as much as a detailed look at this point in the day as I typically would on a Monday because of the extra time that we have and some of the other things that have been a priority this morning. So I know the numbers say that, but again, we got to take a deeper dive into it. And again, as always, it's one of those things where teams know that we're running the ball, at roughly 60% of our normal downs. So there's going to be a point of emphasis for their defense to stop our run. And yeah, as you're alluding to, as always, right? Like I want to run the football, and we're going to find ways to do that. But to speak any further deeply on that, I just don't have knowledge about it at this point in time to see why the numbers are the way that they are right now.
Got it. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And let's wrap things up with our radio man, Tom Evans. Sir, any questions?
Coach, yeah, Coach, you rely so heavily on that zone read, and it looks like Devin only pulled the ball once to keep. Is that something you talked about before, getting him into a comfort zone? Because, we've seen Colin and we've seen Dustin. That's such a big part of your game. Did you kind of back him off of that a little bit and let the running backs carry the load, or is that just something that he was seeing on the field?
No, it's some of the decisions that he made, and he did enough of it that, it kept the defense honest. But again, it's our job as coaches to put the kids in position to be successful, right? So his skill set is a little bit different than, what Collins is. And I'm not locked to any sort of style of play. I'm committed to winning and doing what we need to do to win. And so we called the game a little bit differently and put Devin in a position where he could be successful and operate a little bit more from the home position and utilize his strengths and utilize his talents, and not ask him to do as much in the run game because we got some really talented backs that can carry that load.
You had two interceptions, and it really looked like JoJo and Montre did a great job of reading irons. It almost like I don't know what your view was. It looked like he stared those guys down just a little bit too long. Is that something you saw on film prior to the game, that when he gets to his third read, he's kind of staring people down?
We just knew that we were going to have opportunities because at the rate at which they threw it, and really thought that if we could impact him and get him to not feel comfortable in the pocket, that we could move him around a little bit, that he was going to give us some opportunities. I thought the play that JoJo made coming out of the post, on that vertical seam, particularly in the red zone, and when that showed up was huge. If JoJo doesn't make that play, it's probably a touchdown for them. And then again, the momentum is so critical, especially in rivalry games, but any games, as we have felt this year. So JoJo able to capture that, and Montre, to trust his technique and to do the things that he's done. I think that was his 6th or 7th career interception since he's been here, right? So that's just, guys, again, being trained, the opportunity presents itself, and they go seize it and shoot. That's life, right? Like those critical moments in your life, you don't get redos. You better be ready for the job interview. You better be ready for, when your significant other walks into your life and, hey, are you gonna take the shot or not? Right. And you got to be trained and ready for that. And those guys trusted their training. They played with confidence. They cut it loose, and they played to win, which was really cool to see. And that's what we need to do. You got to have confidence in yourself, and we got confidence in these kids. Hey, go cut it loose and go play to win. That's what it's all about.
And with you got Tez, Dante, and now Jay-Sean coming back healthy. That's a lot of weapons. Do you? It's almost like a tinker. Do you fight the urge every week to kind of get creative with what you can do with those 3 guys, because you got 3 guys that they can't ever double up on any one of them because you got the other 2 that are so dynamic as well? Do you feel the need, or do you go in each week and try and create some things a little bit different look for people?
Well, I think particularly now, Tom, being in year 5, we have to make sure that we're constantly pushing to be growing and expanding and being creative, so that, yeah, we got our tendencies, and yeah, there's going to be certain things that we do. However, again, like, people have a book on us because of this being our 5th iteration of going through it, especially with, the conference opponents and everything. So, our staff has done a tremendous job of acquiring the right talent, these exceptional young men that are willing to work so hard, developing over the course of their years here. So you can line up when, we're relatively at full strength, and you have Leach and his skill set at tight end that can do a lot of different things. And you get a healthy Jay-Sean Polk back, and you get a healthy and active Ray James in the slot. And then obviously Tez and, Slim on the edge. And I mean, shoot, we didn't miss really a beat when, Terrell Harris had to come in for Cephas on the opposite side. He did some great things, again, doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but it's good to have the playmakers. It forces the defense to be even, and they gotta, respect and warrant all the playmakers that are out there. So yeah, we're going to do some things to stress them out a little bit and make sure there's enough touches that go around, because again, that's what Rendell pays us to do, right? We got to put them in the best position to succeed. So I really like this job, and I want to make sure that our kids are getting an opportunity to showcase their ability. And again, every time we get those guys that got all kinds of speed and space, I mean, that's good for the Kent State Golden Flashes.
Last thing for me, Coach. Brian breaks off the big run. How much smack talk was he giving everybody in the locker room after breaking off that big run and not getting touched? Because I got to believe that, with the big guy that he is, that he was kind of letting the little guys in on it a little bit afterwards.
I mean, he's separated now, and again, it's great to see. And I think that's something that probably surprised a lot of people, because, he hasn't been in that position per se. But I tell you what, BB, especially in that game, he finds a way to find the end zone. And again, like he turned the corner, he stepped on the gas, and he looked good doing it. But man, he better go buy some ice cream cones for all those guys who blocked that play up, because it was really, really well executed. And yeah, he stepped out and he finished. That was good, and he celebrated with the boys the right way. But man, that was a really, really well blocked play by everyone involved.
Good stuff, Coach.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, last call for any follow-ups. Any other questions here for Coach? All right, Coach. We'll see you next Tuesday night for some midweek MACtion.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. Go Flashes.